Welcome to the Life and Times of J.C. Otero for episode 15, The Roadtripping Newlyweds. For those of you that know me, you're well aware what the Roadtripping Newlyweds are, but for those of you that don't, that is what my wife and I termed for our grand adventure, where we traveled actual days of 403 days. We went to 113 cities in 22 countries and 3 continents. I would have liked to have gone much longer, but that was kind of a compromise between my wife and I because we were want to start a family and the clock's ticking for her and she's in an urgent state. But so anyways, we got to do that over a span of 18 months. We spread that out across like 5 legs. Um, and this was something that had been a dream of mine for the longest of time. In the very episode 2, outside of my intro happy birthday episode, I talked a little bit about cancer. One of the things I didn't talk about at that time was I had kind of did like life goals and stuff like that, and one of the things that I had outlined there was I was going to get married between the ages of 29 and 32, and once I got married I was going to travel the world with my wife for 2 years. And so with Kristen, we got married in 2015, but we had met first in 2006. So we had a long, history with each other of dating and also being friends and stuff like that. And since we were dating, I had shared with her this, big goal that, um, I wanted to travel the world with my wife. And, by the time we started talking about that, it was always one of those kinds of like just pipe dreams, right? Well, eventually we got married, and we got married right around the same time that I had kind of talked about it before. So I was like, oh, it was kind of like happening, right? So as we get married, and then, Kristen's like, hey, you've been talking about doing this trip. Are we going to do this or what? And so she pretty much like threw down a challenge to me. And I was like, you know what, you're right. Like, I said I was going to do this and I want to do this, and let me put together a plan. And so for our 1 month anniversary after getting married, I presented to her a plan to travel the world. And then we kind of like we kind of not negotiated, but like co-created a plan that worked. And like I did everything from the financials down to the mileage, to the cost, the housing, and everything, like transportation, like everything, cities. Like I spent tons of time on it. So I presented all this to her and answered all her questions and put her at ease. And originally the idea was that I was going to we were going to basically just cash out all my savings and investments and stuff that I had done at that up to that point, and then I would use my entrepreneurial mindset to then just figure out how to generate income and just go and do it. But at the same time, too, I was fortunate because I also had a job where I was working entirely remote. I was doing pretty good, had a good relationship with them, and so I came up with the wacky idea of like, well, why don't I think Kristen maybe mentioned it, or I don't know how it came up, but it's like, well, why don't I just tell them what I'm going to do, and then if they're okay with it, then best case scenario is I'm still employed, and then worst case scenario is they lay me off, or we put together a timeline to when I'm going to quit or whatever, and on good terms, so I could travel. So one way or the other, we're going to travel. It's go time. So anyway, so that just kind of coincided with my annual review with them. So when I drove up there, annual review went all great. We're talking about how good the past year went, how good the next year is going to go. And at the end, I'm like, hey guys, like, I have something to tell y'all. I was actually going to come here and give y'all my notice, but, I wanted to share something with you before I did. My wife and I, as you know, we just recently got married. And so we want to go travel the world before we start a family because it's been a lifelong dream of mine, and it's either now or never. So I wanted to share that with you to see like what your thoughts were. Maybe I could still work remotely because I had done it before when I was in Peru, which is another episode. But and so they basically said, yeah. I mean, quick answer. They looked at each other, the two of the 3 founders, and they're like, yeah. I mean, if you, as long as you can stay connected and you think you can do your job, we trust that you'll do it. You say that you're the type of person that say you get something done, you'll do it. So if it becomes a problem, then we'll have to work with you on, you coming back, and this is your number one priority. I was like, well, definitely, yeah, that's like perfect. So, anyways, I keep my composure, and then once I'd leave, I just called Christian. I was like you won't believe what happened. And I basically told him I was going to quit, and then if it worked out, I can travel, and they don't care where I was. Like they didn't even care where I was going. So throughout this whole trip, I mean, we did these 5 legs. Like, I'll just run you through it real quick to try and keep this under 10 minutes because there's going to be a lot of episodes in the future about this because we just experienced so much. So basically, I mentioned earlier, there's 5 legs. The first leg, so we departed August 2015. And by the way, the Roadtripping Newlyweds, we got like a website, the roadtrippingnewlyweds.com. My wife is doing all the blogging, documenting all our stops. We got like custom license plates and put a hashtag on our car. And I wanted to make a business into it, but Kristen wasn't all about it because she wanted to be her boss. And so that's why I wrote the Airbnb book as well, because we went to so many Airbnbs, 88 in total, I think it was. We picked up a lot of great tips. But anyways, back to the 5 legs because I have almost 4 minutes left to go. So the first leg, I think we hit the road August 12th, which was a Wednesday for some reason, and we hit up Marfa, Texas as our first stop. I don't want to go into all the cities because that'll just take forever, 113 total, 22 countries, 3 continents. But the first leg was the Western United States. And so we did the whole Western United States from Austin all the way to LA, all the way up to Vancouver, down through Denver, and then back down. We got back November 18th, which was my niece Kobe's birthday party. Kobe's on my brother's side. And so we got back for that. We stayed around for Thanksgiving that year, 2015. We also stayed for my birthday, which was my 31st birthday. I don't really remember exactly what we did there. We went out somewhere. I should double check with Kristen. Maybe that'll be another episode. So following that, we went to Mexico from December 5th to December 22nd. That was the first time I'd gone to Mexico to go see family since all my cancer stuff. I didn't talk too much about it, but there's a lot of family battling going on after after my uncle's passing. Fighting over his estate and stuff like that, but that would be another episode. And so I went to go introduce my wife to some of the family, and then also to kind of make amends with, the family that there is this battling going on with, and talked to them so long. And those are my cousins that I grew up with and went to summers, and so I'm glad that got accomplished. So anyways, we did that from the 5th to the 22nd. Went to Mexico City. I ran into I saw some of my fellows from my Mzingo program. That was really incredible, which is another episode. That was summer 2014 when I was in Peru on a fellowship project. And so we got back in time for like Christmas. We got to experience Christmas with all our family and everything like that. And then I think January 5th, we took a flight out to Costa Rica. And then, we spent 2 weeks in Costa Rica, 2 weeks in Panama, 2 weeks in Colombia, 2 weeks in Chile, 2 weeks in Argentina. And then we basically worked our way back by like mid-March. I think March, 22nd or something like that. We got back to Austin just in time for Kristen's 30th birthday, which we did Dirty 30, which that'll probably be another episode because that was a fun party and pretty memorable. So after that was leg 3. And then by that time, we were kind of just trying to recover and doing a lot of traveling, being away from family. It kind of takes its toll on you financially, mentally, physically, emotionally, like everything. It's just tough. And so we spent a little bit longer time than we anticipated back in Austin. I think we were there a total of like 6 weeks. March 22nd. And then we hit the road March 8th or 19th. I can't remember exactly, to do the Eastern United States. And basically we did that from that May 9th all the way to August 8th, I think it was, or 12th, because we rolled back into town the same time we left. Yes. We did that basically Austin all the way to Chicago, up to Toronto, all the way up to Montreal and Quebec City. Saw my cousin Chava up there and tons of other people, and there's going to be lots of episodes on that because I got to document that before I'll forget about it. We're on December 22nd. That's going to be 1 year since we got back and all ended. So we ended all that in August. Got 1 minute left to go. And then in August, we were there for about 3 weeks. And then we flew out to Ireland and we did our last and final leg, which was almost 4 months in Europe. And we just toured Europe. And we went to Ireland, Scotland, England, Netherlands, Belgium, Germany, Austria, Czech Republic, Switzerland, Italy, France, Spain, and Portugal. We did all that stuff in like almost 4 months. And then we got back December 22nd, 2016, and we're almost at 1 year now. is my 33rd birthday. And that's Road Tripping Newlyweds, and there's going to be a lot of other episodes to come. So thanks and stay tuned.